On a whim, my father decided to drive me to school in his luxurious car. The moment I stepped out of it was captured on camera. The image was then posted on the confession wall, accompanied by false accusations that I was a mistress. They even imprisoned me and live-streamed my punishment, vowing to ruin my reputation completely. I struggled and shouted, "Let me go. Otherwise, you'll regret it." But they tormented me in every way imaginable and finally showed me a video. That was when I learned that she was my father's new girlfriend. My father, who rarely had free time, personally drove me back to school that day. On the way, he mentioned that his girlfriend attended the same school as me, and that he had planned to introduce us to each other. However, since she was currently on an internship and even worked overtime on Sundays, he said we'd have to meet another time. I readily agreed, spending the entire journey pondering how to get along with this would-be stepmother, who was around my age. Little did I anticipate that our first encounter would happen so unexpectedly. At first, I had no idea that the senior, accompanied by her clique, who cornered me in the dormitory was my father's girlfriend. I had seen this senior, Lin Siyu, once during the club recruitment. She was a sophomore. She and her friends blocked the dormitory entrance, shoving their phones in my face. Dear viewers in the live stream, take a good look at this vixen. This is the mistress I was talking about. A slut who seduces men. As soon as the netizens in the live stream heard I was a mistress, they furiously typed, their keyboards almost smoking. With that seductive face, she definitely is a mistress. All mistresses deserve to die. My mother was driven to death by a mistress. Host beat her. I won't be satisfied until she's punished. Mistresses are all despicable. I support the host in punishing her. Seeing these indignant comments, Lin Siyu secretly rejoiced. The slight upward curve of her lips betrayed her good mood, but when she looked up at me, her expression turned spiteful. Shinjechi, aren't you ashamed of being a mistress? If I were your family member and knew you were out there being kept as a mistress, I'd probably jump off a building out of anger. I'm no one's mistress. I'm an innocent college student, single since birth. You're spreading false rumors, and I'm going to call the police. She complained to the live stream viewers. Guys, this slut won't admit she's a mistress. Who would willingly admit to such a thing? I suggest the host beats her until she confesses. Host, don't waste your breath on her. Mistresses deserve to be punished. Go for it. I'll send you a virtual rocket. Since you all want to see me teach this mistress a lesson so badly, here I go. Before we start, remember to hit that like button and boost the live stream's popularity. We must expose this despicable person to more people. No sooner had she finished speaking than a stinging slap landed on my face. She exerted all her strength, and blood began to trickle from the corner of my mouth. You whore! How dare you seduce my boyfriend? Today, I'll show you who's in charge. Before I could react, she grabbed my hair, slamming my head against the doorframe. Then she dragged me in front of the camera and slapped me repeatedly. I'll teach you a lesson. I've always hated mistresses more than anything. You've picked the wrong person to mess with this time. Dazed from the beating, I struggled in Lin Siyu's grasp and shouted, Lin Siyu, I told you I've never even had a boyfriend. I'm not a mistress. Let me go right now. My words enraged her even more. She dug her nails into my mouth with all her might. In no time, several gashes appeared on my mouth, turning it bloody. My hands were held firmly by her two friends, leaving me unable to move. All I could do was make muffled sounds, my eyes filled with terror. Seeing me resist, she pressed down even harder. You think you can be stubborn? I'll teach you a lesson. The commotion attracted a large crowd. Some onlookers couldn't stand it anymore. Hey, don't you think you're going too far? What you're doing is illegal. Upon hearing someone defend me, Lin Siyu quickly pointed the camera at that person's face. It's only natural for a wife to punish a mistress. Why are you speaking up for her? Are you a mistress too? What are you talking about? I just can't stand to see you bullying others like this. If you're not a mistress, why defend her? It's outrageous that someone would feel sorry for a mistress. With that, she started feigning sobs to gain sympathy. Is this person crazy? What does it have to do with them? They look like troublemakers. Maybe they're a mistress too. Anyone who defends a mistress is also a mistress. Host, don't let them off the hook. To intimidate the person into backing down, Lin Siyu turned on the loudspeaker for the voice comments. The comments, all suspecting the defender of being a mistress, were so offensive that they left the person red-eyed with anger. Seeing how unreasonable Lin Siyu was, the other onlookers didn't dare to speak up for fear of being cyberbullied. Satisfied that no one was defending me anymore, Lin Siyu pointed the camera back at my face. New viewers, remember this. This is the shameless mistress. I stared defiantly into the camera, trying to speak. I'll say it again. I'm not a mistress. You're slandering me without any evidence and assaulting me with others. Just wait for the court summons. Lin Siyu stepped forward and kicked me to the ground, then mercilessly crushed my face with her shoe. Her features contorted, she pulled up the video and showed it to me, hissing, "You say you're not the mistress? Then who's that getting out of my boyfriend's car at the school gate? You not only lie but also threaten me. Do you think I won't teach you a real lesson?" At the sight of the video, I realized it was my father, and I finally understood that Lindsay was my dad's girlfriend. I thought she'd release me once she knew our relationship, but instead, she dragged me into the restroom and shoved my head into the toilet bowl. "Daddy's little girl, huh? You're not just shameless, but also a coward who won't own up to her actions. Have a good bath and come to your senses." The wound on my head hit the toilet, making me dizzy, and the cuts on my mouth stung painfully when they met the water. The toilet water flooded my nose and mouth, and a wave of Trushigon washed over me. I struggled desperately, only to be struck hard on the back with a mop handle by Lindsay. "Scared now, you slut? Didn't think about this when you were seducing men, did you?" Lindsay and her two cronies tied me to a chair, then ransacked my desk and cabinets. Seeing that I used luxury items, Lindsay smashed everything in a fit of rage. "Knew you were no good. You're just after his money." I watched Lindsay vent her madness, shocked that my father's girlfriend could be like this. If he married her without knowing the truth, our family would surely be in chaos. "Lindsay, you'll regret this," I warned. She sneered. "Just because you moan daddy in bed doesn't mean he's really your father. Bet you've called plenty of men that." As the words fell, they poured hot water from a thermos over me. The water, filled by my roommate the day before, wasn't boiling hot luckily, or my skin would have been ruined. Disappointed by the lukewarm water, they discarded the thermos, each grabbing a clothes hanger and whipping me relentlessly. Their blows left my chest and back covered in angry red welts. Exhausted, I realized nothing I said would sway them. They were convinced I was the mistress, and with the dorm door locked, they could torture me at will. "Dear viewers," Lindsay cooed into the camera, "how should I torture her? Leave your ideas in the comments, and I'll try them all as a gift to you." The comments were a torrent of cruelty. "Give her a half-shaved head. Break her legs so she can't chase other men. Make her walk on broken glass. Slice her facino more seducing. Cut off her breasts. Rip her clothes and expose the slut." And she actually carried out these sickening demands. Fearing I'd scream, they taped my mouth shut. I endured the humiliation of a half-shaved head and the excruciating pain of broken legs, sweat beading on my forehead and my hands trembling. My eyes blazed with hatred. If I survived, she'd pay. I watched in horror as they shattered every glass item in the dorm and forced my feet onto the shards, turning them into a bloody mess. I struggled wildly, but they held me down, cackling at my agony. Lindsay caressed my cheek mockingly. "Shinjechi, the best is yet to come." She pulled out a knife, wiping it menacingly. "Wonder if anyone will want you once you're a disfigured mess?" The cold blade sent a shudder through me, and in my despair I prayed for help. Just as she lunged at my face, the dorm door burst open. My heart leaped at the sight of the newcomer, only to be confused when I didn't recognize them. "Lindsay, you're done for. Shinjechi is Guming's biological daughter. You know very well if you have any real connection with Guming," the person declared. "I'm Su Xiaochen, Guming's actual girlfriend." Lindsay's eyes flickered with panic but quickly regained her bravado. "Who the hell are you?" "Another mistress." She turned the camera on Su Xiaochen. "Another mistress trying to challenge me. My boyfriend is just two charming women can't resist throwing themselves at him." Su Xiaochen aimed her camera at Lindsay in return. This woman pretended to be my boyfriend's girlfriend and bullied his daughter. What should I do about her? The comments erupted. "Slap her silly." I watched stunned as Su Xiaochen slapped Lindsay to the ground. She then gently removed the tape from my mouth, though the pain still made me wince. "Don't worry. I've called your dad. He's on his way with a private medical team, and the police will be here soon." I nodded as she assured me, "Just wait for your dad. I'll deal with Lindsay." Lindsay, helped up by her friends, played the victim in her live stream. These mistresses are so bold, ganging up on the rightful partner. The viewers, once again misled, demanded, "Call your boyfriend. Don't let them get away with this." Su Xiaochen challenged Lindsay. "You claim to be Guming's girlfriend. Where's your proof?" Lindsay blustered. "My relationship with my boyfriend is none of your business." Su Xiaochen smiled sweetly. "Then what proof do you have that we're mistresses? Slandering without evidence is illegal, you know." Lindsay raged. "I'm the real girlfriend. I say you're mistresses, so you are." Su Xiaochen persisted. "Show me your marriage certificate. Without it, how can you prove you're not just a gold digger who saw Guming drop Jechi off today and got jealous? You smeared her as a mistress so you could swoop in when he dumps her. Admit it, you didn't show your face in the live stream because you're terrified of Guming finding out the truth." Lindsay turned pale. "You liar. You're spitting lies." Unfazed, Su Xiaochen shrugged. "Believe what you want. Guming will be here soon, and he won't let you off the hook for what you've done to his daughter." I couldn't help but twitch at the realization that Lindsay was just one of my father's troublesome affairs. Sickened, I watched as Su Xiaochen exposed Lindsay's scheme. With Guming's arrival imminent, Lindsay tried to flee, but Su Xiaochen's friends, medical students who knew how to subdue without causing fatal harm, surrounded her and her cronies. Soon the sounds of scuffles filled the air. My father and the police arrived simultaneously, accompanied by doctors, my counselor, and the tardy dorm supervisor. My father pushed through the crowd and rushed to me. His eyes filled with tears at the sight of my swollen cheek and bloodied mouth. He reached out then pulled back helpless. "Chichi, I'm so sorry. I should have protected you. I promise they'll pay." His gaze fell on my broken legs and feet, and his eyes turned fierce. He whirled around and slapped Lindsay repeatedly, only to be stopped by the police. Mr. Gu, we understand your anger, but no vigilantism. Trust the law to deliver justice. My father reluctantly let the medics place me on a stretcher, shooting Lin Xiu a deathly glare as she was questioned by the police. Su Xiaochen spoke with the counselor, then joined us in the ambulance. She revealed that Lin Xiu had bribed the dorm supervisor, explaining the lack of intervention. I spent the next month in the hospital. When I was discharged, I was confined to a wheelchair, my legs in casts and my feet heavily bandaged. With my mouth too painful to speak, I survived on liquid meals to minimize lip movement. A miserable existence. When the Lin family sought a private settlement, I agreed, demanding hefty compensation. I couldn't let Lin Xiu off easy by sending her to jail. I wanted her to pay for every ounce of my suffering. As for her two accomplices, I saw to it that they faced legal consequences and ended up behind bars. When Lin Xiu heard the judgment of her two accomplices, her face turned as white as a ghost. When she was escorted out of the court by my father and Su Xiaochen, the families of Lin Xiu's two friends were causing trouble for the Lin family. Both girls were the only daughters in their families, and now that such a thing had happened, they surely hated the Lin family to the core. I would be more than happy to watch the three families fight among themselves, but for now it seemed unlikely, as the Lin family was stronger than the other two families. 3 months later, the Lin family went bankrupt. Besides my father's efforts, the other two families also played a part. I returned to school, and I was escorted by bodyguards every day. Lin Xiu also went back to school. Now that her family was bankrupt, if she didn't complete her studies properly, she didn't know what she could do in the future. Logically, with such a serious fault, she should have been expelled, but I, being kind-hearted, went to the principal to plead for her. I had become the epitome of a saintly woman. I was repaying evil with kindness, as others had almost killed me. I always smiled and said that we were all classmates, and I was just accumulating good fortune for myself. My classmates said I had a good temper. After all, the halshi was yet to begin. Soon my birthday arrived. I planned to throw a grand birthday party. Everyone I knew in the school received an invitation, including Lin Xiu. Because her family was bankrupt, Lin Xiu couldn't afford a new dress and had to wear an old one. No one wanted to talk to her, and she felt like an ugly duckling at the party. Everyone seemed to be laughing at her. When I appeared in the banquet hall wearing a dress custom-made by a top designer, Lin Xiu gritted her teeth in jealousy. I walked up to her and greeted, "Senior, why are you alone here? Don't you have any friends with you?" At the word friends, she thought of the two people in prison. "You're joking, Junior. Where could I find friends now?" she said, and her eyes welled up with tears, looking extremely pitiful. "Oh, is it because you were a mistress that you have no friends? Do you remember how you tortured me?" I sneered. Lin Xiu looked up at me and asked, "What do you want?" "Nothing. I just want you to taste the same pain," I said. Then, I signaled the bodyguards to take her to the warehouse of my house. She was really scared and knelt down to beg for mercy. How could I let her go? I followed them to the warehouse. "Lin Xiu, it's useless to shout. Do you think the Lin family, who value sons over daughters, would risk offending the Gu family for you?" Picked up a dagger. "What do you think it would feel like if this dagger slid across your face?" I gently made a cut on her face, and she trembled with fear, begging me to spare her. "Spare you? If I spare you, I should send you to prison instead of having you at my mercy," I said. The bodyguard handed me an axe. I looked at Lin Xiu, whose face turned pale. "Are you afraid?" I asked with a smile. Then I brought down the axe. With a shrill scream, Lin Xiu's legs were broken. She cried heart-wrenchingly. Annoyed by her noise, I asked the bodyguard to hold her down and pour a large bucket of sewage into her mouth. She felt so sick that she vomited. I slapped her face left and right, and finally I smashed the axe on her head, and Lin Xiu fainted. I told the bodyguard to tie her up, give her some water but no food. I wanted to make her stay alive. The next day I registered an account. Because of what happened before, I was very popular. As soon as I registered, someone sent me a private message asking if I was the wealthy daughter who was beaten. I replied, yes. Then I asked the public relations department of my family to help me post a note, saying that I was in a very bad state. The bullying and slander incident had hit me hard, and my family was very worried about me, so they decided to send me abroad for recuperation. I also edited a video of myself looking very weak in the hospital. After posting it, Lin Xiu and the other two were once again pushed to the top of the trending topics. Netizens praised me for my kindness in sparing Lin Xiu. According to what the public relations department wrote, I should be abroad, not in my own warehouse. When I saw Lin Xiu again, she was very weak. She was no longer the high-spirited big sister she used to be, but she was still very mean-spirited. She even said that I wasn't a real Gu and was an illegitimate child. "Lin Xiu, you're really stupid. Can't I take my mother's surname? Even if I'm not a Gu, so what? You fell into my hands and you're unlucky," I said. Looking at her weak appearance, I thought she was quite pathetic. I kicked her and the kick landed right on her face. She let out a scream. I casually found a discarded towel and stuffed it into her mouth, and she finally quieted down. It was better when she was quiet. She shed big tears, looking so pitiful. I squatted down and said to her, "What's so great about Gu Ming? You're so crazy. The Lin family was fairly well off. Even if you didn't cling to Gu Ming, you could have found a good husband. But you're so cheap. You just want to rely on a powerful person, right? Gu Ming is my father, and if I don't allow him to get married, he won't be able to. You've been missing for a day and night, and the Lin family hasn't come looking for you. Do you think the Lin family would choose you over the chance to revive their company?" Lin Xiu shook her head desperately. "I can spare you. Kneel down and beg me, and I'll give you a way out." or you can end your life. With the status of the Gu family, I can make sure no one knows if you disappear from this world, I said. She cried and shook her head. I took the towel out of her mouth. Please spare me. I'll be your servant, she begged. Fine. Cut off one of your fingers to show your sincerity, I said. She nodded vigorously. I asked the bodyguard to untie her, and she really cut off her little finger with an axe. You're so cruel to yourself. How can I trust you by my side? I said. Hearing this, she glared at me and lunged at me. I kicked her in the chest and told her that waiting for death obediently was what she should do next. Then I hung her up, picked up a steel pipe, and whipped her with all my strength. When I was tired, I asked the bodyguard to continue. I didn't stop until Lin Siu stopped making a sound. After that, I left the warehouse. When I got home, I saw my father waiting for me in the living room. Dad, what do you want to say? I asked. Jechi, I know you're angry. You've been ruthless since you were a child. I also want to avenge you, but don't kill anyone, he said. Are you really my father? My mother died early, and all these years you've either been in a relationship or been caught cheating. I was bullied because of you. Even if I kill her, you should clean up the mess. And you say I'm ruthless? That's exactly what you're like. Even if I'm a villain, I'm your child and you're no better, I said. My father watched me go upstairs without saying a word. On the third day, I went to the warehouse as usual and brought some iodine. When Lin Siu saw me, her eyes were filled with fear and a hint of hope. I untied her and disinfected her wounds while whipping her with a whip. She was covered in blood and the smell of iodine was really unpleasant. Please give me a way out, she begged. You still have the strength to speak? I'm too kind. You're still alive, I said. Lin Siu, when you slandered me as a mistress and beat me on the live stream, did you ever think this day would come? I picked up a steel pipe and hit her face. Soon she stopped breathing. But I was still angry. I ordered someone to bring the Lin family to the Gu family's old house. When they saw their daughter's body, they shouted at me. I offered them a large sum of money to revive their company, and they hesitantly agreed. They held a hasty funeral and said that Lin Siu had committed suicide due to the cyberbullying and depression. After that, I left the rest to my father and went abroad. This time, I really went abroad for a half-year vacation. I instructed that the Lin family should go bankrupt again within half a year. I didn't want to see the Lin family again. I also dealt with the dorm supervisor. I asked my father to send the dorm supervisor back to her hometown and spread the word in her village that she had a child with a man outside. As a result, she was locked in the cellar by her husband's family and soon went crazy. As expected, as soon as I landed in the country, the Lin family was once again in the spotlight. I ignored these news and hung out with my rich friends in a bar for a night. My father was very happy to see me back. He said he would guard the Gu family's property and leave it all to me when he passed away. He also decided not to date anymore and just be with me. I started to take over the company's affairs. With my father's genes, I thrived in the business world. 3 years later, I saw a familiar face on the street. Miss, would you like to know about swimming and fitness? He said. I looked up and it was Lin Siu's younger brother. Do you remember who I am? I asked. He said he did, but he just wanted to live a normal life and didn't want to dwell on the past. I smiled. He was quite sensible, unlike his dead sister.